Jennifer Purdue, and my demonstration speech today will be on how to play the guitar in a snap. Guitar is actually one of the simplest instruments that one can play, and all it takes is just a little time and application, and of course putting up with some pretty tall blisters for a while, and then you can play like a pro. Little background information on me. I'm a third-generation guitar player. It started with my grandpa, Harvey Purdue Sr., and then my dad, Harvey Purdue Jr., and now me. I am a self-taught guitar player. Unlike my dad, my grandpa had taught him to play and everything, but I taught myself. And it took some patience, but with a little patience, I am now a guitar player. I also play bass guitar and drums, and I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been singing for 20 years now, and I'm only 23, get that. Before we actually start playing the guitar, we need to learn the parts of the guitar, okay? Our first part here is called the box. The box is the main part of the sound, and depending on what brand of guitar you have, that changes the sound of your box. Here we have the bridge. The bridge holds your strings into your guitar from the back side. Here's the neck, and on the neck we have frets. This is called a fretboard because you have the dots showing where you can put your finger positions. This is the headstock of the guitar. And the headstock consists of your tuning keys, which you will use to tune your guitar. A tip on tuning, you always want to tune to standard tuning, which is 440 tuning. All right, next we'll move on to the strings of the guitar. The bottom string right here, that is your little E string. Next in line we have the B string, G string, D string, A string, and the big E string. All right, now that we have learned the parts of the guitar and now that we have learned the strings of the guitar, let us now learn to make a few of the basic chords of the major scale. We will start by making the G chord. The G chord is your most common chord of all because it is one of your simplest to make. All you do, you take your middle finger on the big E, your pointer finger here, you put the ring finger here on the B, and the pinky finger on the little E, and you have the G chord. Now, if you're wanting to make more chords to go along with the G chord, you have the chord progressions of G. And your normal song will go in the progression of G, C, and D, something like this. Now, we will learn to make the C chord, which is the second chord in the G progression. When you make the C chord, a lot of people make it a lot of different ways, but this is the way I taught myself to make the C chord. You put your ring finger on big E, and then you put your middle finger on the D string, and then you have your pointer finger on B, and your pinky finger on little E, thus giving a very full C chord sound. Now that we've learned to make the C chord, we will make the D chord, which is the third chord in the G progression. Alright, this one looks a little complicated to make, which in fact it kind of is when you first start playing the guitar, and I can tell you this, your fingers are going to cramp up and it's just going to be unbelievable. But with a little patience and a little time and perseverance with the blisters, the D chord will be no big deal. Alright, first we put the pointer finger on the G string. Then we have our middle finger on the little E, and then we have our ring finger on the B string, thus giving us D. Now, just a quick shortcut here, you can also make the D chord right here in the same position as C. All you do is just move up. Here's C again. All you have to do is move up the neck just one full big step and you've got D. Next we will learn how to make the A chord and the progressions that go with the A chord. This is your A chord. This one's a little difficult too, as far as your fingers cramping up at first and the blisters. But with the A chord, it's also one of your more common chords. You have your middle finger here on the D string. You have your ring finger on the G string and your pinky finger on your B string. And there's the A chord. Now the A chord and the G chord share a chord in their progressions, however they're in different places in the chord progressions. Where the D chord is your third chord in the G progression, it is your second chord in the A progression. And there's D once again. We already learned how to make that. Alright, now that we have learned that the second chord in the A progression is the same as the third chord in the G progression, we will move on to make E chord. And E chord is the third chord in the A progression. Simply put your pointer finger here on the G string. Then you put your middle finger on the A string and your ring finger on the D string. And you have the E chord. I'm going to skip the B chord and the C chord because of the fact they have some more complicated progressions in them. They involve lots of minors, and of course we're not ready for those just yet since we're just now learning how to play. The D progression. We talked about the D chord and we learned how to make it, so this one should be easy for you. Here's D, G, A. That's basically all you need to know right now about the D chord progression is you have D, which is your number 1, G for number 2, and A for number 3. These are your most basic chords in the scale progression, G, A, and D chords, and you will hear lots of songs played in these chords. It doesn't matter if it's rock and roll, country, or pop, these are your 3 most popular chords of all. And you know, sometimes, even while you're playing the guitar, you can just sing a little song with it if you want to, something like this. Well, I never felt more like singing the blues, 'cause I never thought that I'd ever lose your love, dear. Why did you do me this way? See, isn't this fun, playing the guitar in a snap? Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have enjoyed this demonstration video of how to play the guitar in a snap.